first-time investors become first-time developers and come to Dubai. First up, we need to differentiate between a real estate project and a real estate developer. A lot of times, given the growth story of Dubai, the investment opportunities that Dubai has produced for the world, first-time investors become first-time developers and come to Dubai. A lot of developers from other countries as first-time developers enter Dubai, right? So our first challenge is really creating the brand of a new developer, right? Because that's where the story starts. So a lot of times we have a first-time developer or a developer who's a new developer in Dubai standalone and must be a developer in Europe, in India, or any other part of the world for that matter, right? How do you create differentiation between two developers who have decided to do a pilot project first? They want to start with a good location and a small project because they want to limit their cash outlay to a few $1 million, right? So assume that it's a $50 million project and they don't want exposure beyond that. They want to test the market. They want to see what the cycle time is like from conceptualization of them as a developer, as a brand, to the project, to the sales and marketing of the project, to the complete development and handover of the project, and what is that net profit or the net return on investment and the return on equity they make, right? So that's why christening a developer or creating a new developer brand is a challenge, because there might be multiple developers trying to do the same thing at the same time in the same neighborhood within Dubai with a very similar product. In fact, as we speak, we are experiencing something very similar. So the challenge is, how do you differentiate? And being an off-plan real estate marketing specialist, we are very well aware of the market. You know, if this was another creative agency who's trying to create a brand for a developer, you know, sometimes ignorance is bliss. They do not know what else is happening in the market. So it just becomes so much easier for them to create a brand identity. Now, only later do they realize that this brand identity is very similar to the next guy's and the third and the fourth, because they're not specialists in this domain, right? But it becomes a challenge for us because of the increased awareness, and literally every team member, almost all 100 of us in Pixl, know almost everything about the local real estate market and new developers entering and existing developers. So that's the first challenge that we face. How do you create a distinct brand identity of a developer who is in essence trying to provide a good high quality product to the end user, right? How do you create that differentiation? And then, believe it or not, the same problem is with the project, because now they're trying to build a project each. Literally, I mean, we are working now with two projects being built on adjacent pieces of land. Almost identical projects, because obviously the master developer only allows that much to be built. Now, how they design it, how they style it, and then what that project identity should be, you know, creating the brand identity of the project becomes the second challenge. But the way we tackle it is, and that's the reason why sometimes working with new developers is really a joy, because you create the brand ethos of the developer, and then that, you know, trickles down into every project they do, right? So every project becomes a distinct product, a distinct identity, even though they are two neighboring projects. And you might see very soon, when we are at will to share this experience, that you would have seen two completely different products, while the same marketing company has been trying to think through how to distinctly position them, and there's a market for both the projects, right? And that becomes really the third challenge, that when I'm creating a brand identity for a product, for a project, is it an end user focused product? Is it an investor focused product, right? And how do I create that identity or that project identity, and how do I market it to suit the right audience, right? So these challenges come up, right? And in a nutshell, if I were to repeat, the real challenge is, how do you create credible yet distinctive brand identities of developers and projects who are all going behind a similar kind of buyer who is essentially in love with the story of Dubai.